Okay, we're live. Welcome to our first podcast.
Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. No, welcome to you. Welcome to me.
Welcome, guys.
Why we're
What
doing this?
are we doing here?
Um,
Firstly, nothing has been planned so far except that we will do this.
yeah, this started with the idea that we were
What
like
started?
this recording started with the idea that we have interesting conversations, and
Very
why not? We enjoy the conversation, so why not just open up the conversations a bit to other people? Not that we're talking to anyone else,
No.
but we are we're just recording this and having a conversation.
Okay.
It's really that.
It's just that. So that's that. And what are we talking about today? And like often when we talk, our conversations are very exploratory and generally led by questions that you have.
Yeah.
So is that going to be the conversation format?
We didn't decide anything. So right
So
now
we're
maybe
deciding now.
right now we have
Okay, let's just talk. Forget it all.
yeah.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about? I
A
have
friend of
Bhuri
mine.
sleeping on my lap, and she is has a cone over herself, over her head.
A friend of mine messaged me recently, and he said that the essence of what he messaged was essentially he likes to chill, relax, and have a good time, enjoy life.
Okay.
But it seems like every person that he knows, and the internet especially, tells him that no, he cannot be happy unless he does whatever, XYZ.
What is XYZ?
Take a cold bath,
Arre?
go hustle, drop shipping,
But
anything.
I did take a cold
all
bath
of those things.
the other day, and it was really fun
Yeah, but
and relaxing.
but
But that's aside
that's
the topic.
besides the point. But the point is, the
So-
point that he made, no, let me ask the full question, was that I enjoy doing what I am doing, but everyone is telling me this. Why do I feel guilty about enjoying the slow life that I have and enjoy?
There are
So what are your thoughts on this?
many levels at which I can answer. But the thing, so you said that there's this person who likes to enjoy and relax, and I don't know what type of activities they mean when they say that, but maybe any activity, maybe no activity, whatever. This person is saying that they have ways and means of enjoying, and they enjoy that. But somehow they also seem to feel guilty about the other ways of enjoyment that are being popularized.
No, not the other ways of enjoyment. People are saying enjoyment is bad.
Enjoyment is bad.
Yes,
Arre.
you need to hustle, you need to do things, you need
Okay,
to be
but-
uncomfortable, you need to
You need
make
to be
yourself
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
You need to make yourself uncomfortable. But when you say all of this, there's an assumption inbuilt that any of these activities may not be enjoyable. Hustling may not. You're saying by saying I want to just enjoy, but I'm being asked to hustle, is saying also that you're assuming hustling cannot be enjoyable.
Mm.
On the side of said friend. But I'm not arguing that is hustling enjoyable, is hustling. I'm not on side of any idea like that. I'm just trying to break down the question that has been asked of me. And the second thing is that the person who's saying you need to hustle is assuming that said outcome that they're guaranteeing will be received at the end of hustling. There's only one way to get that outcome. That is hustling. So on both parties, there's a lot of assumptions here. So that is what I see as the
Assumptions of what?
why can hustling not be enjoyable? Why can a cold shower not be enjoyable? Why can anything else that you said not be enjoyable? And why can't somebody, what is the end goal of this said hustling and cold showers on the internet? Success. And why can't the measure of success be having the time to sit idly by, right? The second way in which I would look at this question, so one point that we talked about with this was that there's a lot of assumptions involved in every part of the sentence. The other way to think about it is, you said your friend said that I just like to relax, but the fact that the other people are telling me that relaxing in this way will not lead to success, and that bothers me, I would put that to a habitual behavior of listening to the crowd, right? You will listen to everything else. You will listen to maybe what you should wear from the crowd. You will listen to how you should speak, how you should eat, what are we going to, where are we partying, where are we working, how much are we making money wise, how do we spend that money that we made. If on all of these counts you will listen to the crowd or to the internet or to these people that are speaking all of these things, then how will you suddenly reject something else, right? Like something that I have always understood is that when I accept somebody's praise, it is that person's criticism that hurts me more. So this is not exactly that, but kind of like that. That if you're going to listen to the internet about everything else, then you're going to find it hard to not listen to the internet about this one thing, because your mind is going to crave some kind of consistency. It's going to say, oh, so we are listening to the internet and blindly following what it says. Okay, maybe not blindly, but we're all in within some bubble on the internet, and within that bubble, top 5 people are such and such for us, and if they're following a trend, then we'll follow. Now the mind understands this equation, and now you're telling the mind not to understand another, like to now not follow this equation just because you're not feeling like it. So it becomes imperative in any of these conversations to then understand how the mind functions. This is what Sadhguru says, that your mind is like a sharp knife, and a sharp knife needs to be known how to be used. If you don't know how to use a sharp knife, you're going to hurt yourself badly. So if the mind is like that, you need to understand how your mind works, or how the mind works. And this is how the mind works. You give it a formula, now the mind applies that formula absolutely everywhere. You tell the mind, you'll see this with children all the time, right? I find it really, I'm going to tell a little bit of a story and then I'm going to get to my point about how the mind works. I find it really odd when I meet kids with either their nannies or their parents. These are kids under the age of 6, 7, but even sometimes 8, 9. And I'll say hi to the kid, and the parent, or I may not even say hi to the kid. The parent will just proactively say, "Arey auntie ko hi bolo, didi ko hi bolo," whatever they want to call me. Or if they're conversing with another person, isko hi bolo. I find that really strange, because I believe that kids will say hi to somebody if and when they want to. Like, you don't need to tell a kid to go be friends with somebody. So I ended up saying this to a friend of mine who has maybe a 6-year-old, and I said, why do you have to tell your kid to say hi to me? If your kid is in the mood to say hi to me, he'll say, otherwise it's all right. Just because you're saying hi to me, he doesn't have to say hi to me. So the friend said, no, it's not that. That is all right. But it is that we have already programmed our kids and told them not to say hi to strangers.
Yeah.
And now that the child's mind is programmed to not say hi to strangers, now we have to proactively come and tell them who are not strangers. And then eventually the child will learn more about social life and like not even smile at a stranger, which is what most adults I see don't even smile at strangers. But anyway, that's besides the point. But that's how the mind is. You get to see this in children all the time. You tell them something, jhoot bolna bura hai, and then you invariably end up saying lies somewhere, and the kid will be like, but mummy, aapne to bola tha jhoot bolna bura hai.
Yeah.
So, why do you think your mind has changed? Your mind has not changed since then.
The nature of your mind has not changed.
The nature of your mind, exactly. The way in which the mind functions has not changed.
Yeah.
What has changed is maybe how you perceive the information that is coming through, the story you tell about it to yourself. It's not as black and white, and lots of shades of grey have come in between, but the essence of it is the same.
Yeah.
So if you've told the mind, okay, we must, for success, it is essential that I must look at the internet and I must see what those top 5 people that are quote unquote my influencers. Nobody puts it like that, but we all have, people tend to have top 5 influencers on the internet personally to them. They could be people with a lot of followers or not. And that set, I'm sure, keeps changing. You've told yourself, I'm going to compare myself to these 5 people, and if on parameters that I come up with my own head because of conditioning that I have been raised through, and if I say that I have succeeded on all of these, and by success we only mean I'm doing better than all of those people on those parameters, or at least, sometimes people even have this, they'll say no, I don't need to do better than everybody, but that's because they have taken that role in their own life that they want to be second. So they'll say, oh, no, I'm always happy when my best friend gets high. Whatever. People will come up with all sorts of stories. But the point is, you're still playing that game where you're comparing yourself with others.
Mm.
And that doesn't work. Eventually, you will hit a wall, or you will hit whatever. It will not work. The comparison game doesn't work.
Comparison game, and I feel like this.
And I feel we need to talk more about comparison game also, to kind of say what we mean when we say that. But yeah, go ahead.
That we are trained to listen to other people's advice from the education system that we got, starting from that point, or starting even all the way down to our parents, right? We are trained that another person knows better. And so when that repetition happens, that another person knows better, then we keep believing this. We're just in the system that there is something that they know about my life that will improve my life. But that person, let's say the person who is saying cold showers is it's one of these, either US concept or a European concept, right? Someone popularized it over there and came up with this idea, and now it is across the globe. Everyone wants to do cold plunges or whatever, something like that. Now, does that idea born by someone in the US, popularized, used by that many people, does it apply to you individually, who is grown up in a completely different climate, who is adjusted to cold or heat in a particular way? We tend to believe very easily that things are very universal. That if someone with 1 million likes on a post is saying something, that becomes some sort of truth. And that applies to us also. But that is false. And that is false at every level.
Yeah,
it is from the parent to the teacher to the friend to no one knows what works exactly for you.
Well, there are always good guides, and those good guides are people who know you well. That is always there. But other than that, yes. But the reason is not that. The reason for this, there are many. I would again talk about one, which is loss of sensitivity or loss of self-awareness. You don't know what you like. Like in this case, your friend knows that he likes to relax, or he likes his own way of relaxation better than a cold shower or anything else that you said. This he knows. So that's where he's able to see a delta, a difference between what he knows to be true for himself and to be working for himself. That's why he's able to isolate the guilt and point it out, and you're saying, okay, this is not adding up. This is what these people are saying. I generally tend to follow and like, but here this is going against the very grain of me. The reason is he has awareness of what he likes to do in his downtime, or how he likes to enjoy his downtime. Now with the loss of sensitivity, and it's a vicious circle. Loss of sensitivity makes you listen to other people more. You listening to other people more.
Sensitivity in this case is?
Awareness. You don't know what you like, what you don't like. Like, for example, a lot of people go drinking as teenagers. Some of the kids that I hear about or work with, then the parents are saying there's a concept of peer pressure under which these kids will drink. Now, if you have the sensitivity to taste alcohol or smell alcohol, and then say whether this is something that is for you or not, you may not drink it, even if you're a teenager going out partying with your friends, and you may not think that there's anything wrong with that. But you have no sensitivity, you have no awareness, you have no truth anymore. You believe your coolness comes from having this glass of alcohol with your friends. Maybe you actually don't like the taste, but your sensitivity, I know I'm using this one idea in many ways, but it is all awareness, right? It is all awareness. Means what? Awareness means knowing something for what it is, as it is. So I am cool as it is, or I'm not cool as it is. My coolness or not coolness, firstly, I don't understand what measure is coolness, although I'm like can you edit things?
I
hope so.
Let's see.
Coolness or not cool, like it's anyway a measure. It's the same kind of measure of as success was, right? Yes, everybody wants to be successful, everybody wants to feel कि I came, I saw, I conquered. Like मैं आया, मैंने देखा, मैंने कुछ किया. I was here, I realized I'm here meaning this plane of existence, earth. I looked around, I saw what I explored a bit, and then I showed what I got. Everybody wants that. So that is what in school is being cool, and then at work later maybe becomes success, or in home becomes success at home. But it is I came, I saw, I conquered. No, it is not I came, I saw you, and then I copied you. So that has become lost because of comparisons. Now, this comparison is because we are very easily influenced by what others are saying about. We're very easily influenced by perceptions. Oh, this person in my class is being perceived as really cool. There is no truth. You've not been able to inquire to see कि ये पूरे perception के पीछे कोई असलियत है या नहीं है. Sometimes I see, like I go proactively on social media and go to these Zoom or some of these, I don't even know the names, but these Bollywood or Hollywood celebrity stuff, just to see why are they so big? Why? Okay, yes, they're actors and that's their job, but why are the non-acting lives so big? So, and then I see sometimes these people are wearing the most uncomfortable clothes. There was something that I was seeing of Kim Kardashian where she could not walk, like she couldn't walk, but she was wearing what she was wearing. Now that will become a very long conversation. I don't want to get into it, but eventually that is about perception. An image is being created and being sold to you as to different people within your bubbles: classy, cool, successful, for men, for women, for this type of women, and for that type of a man, and then more and more categorizations are done: alpha, beta, omega, I don't know, whatever, within women, within men, within any groups of kids. Some kid came and told me, I'm not a kid anymore, I'm a preteen. I'd never heard of this when I was growing up. So more and more and more categorizations are done, labels are done, and now this, and then definitions of said labels are done. And now you have to, within this box, live out your life, and you have to be number one. Matlab, not only do you have to live up a facade, but you have to be number one in living up said facade.
And that, consistent in that
and
facade.
Consistently, and grow also. Grow like that, wo mountain ka side hota hai, वैसे it looks like that growth chart. So this is a lot of unnecessary pressure about all sorts of untruths. The truth is, you came, you came in the sense that you're here, you're either here, you're listening to this, you are aware of whatever you're aware in this moment, so you're here. That is the truth. You're seeing, meaning you have the ability to capture more data, you have the ability to understand your environment. Do you want to make use? Okay, and the last thing is conquer. So you have the ability to capture data about your environment, you have the ability to process your environment in a certain way, you have the ability to give a certain output. Do you want this input and output to be influenced by everybody else? Do you want somebody else to tell you what this perspective should be? Or do you wish that your unique life will allow... Do you wish your unique life to allow you a unique perspective, or a perspective unique to you? And from that vantage point, you have your inputs and an output comes out. And in the absence of this authenticity, we feel thwarted, and we feel guilt, and we feel shame. And in the presence of this, we feel love, we feel ease, we feel happiness. We're like, okay, this is this. Like, look, what is happiness? It's time that is not spent thinking I'm not happy. How do you know you're happy? You don't sit and think, oh, I am happy. You're just not thinking that I'm unhappy.
In the moments of happiness, you don't even know.
You don't
even
consider,
exist at that time. You are just in the thing.
But chalo, everybody may not have an experience like that.
No, you would have it in doing something.
Yeah, you're not spending time wondering or acknowledging the presence of a state.
Yeah.
So it's exactly like that. When you're truly happy, when you're truly successful, when you're truly aware, there is nothing to know more. It is in all the other times that, anyway, that point is lost.
I'd say one more thing about the nature of the mind in this, that what happens also, right? You said that you're feeling happy at different times, and other times there's just you think about, acha, I am not feeling my best right now. And then what happens is that there's conditionings that have happened in your life before, and your mind will just bring those things in and be like, acha, I've seen people like cycles of guilt. I've seen either elder relatives, I've seen my parents go through cycles of guilt because they enjoyed something, and then they feel a certain way about it. And those,
I'm not following.
We have ambiently observed, not consciously, but we have assimilated from our surroundings ideas of sadness, guilt, shame that are just around us all the time. Now, when at this moment we are feeling unsettled for any reason, these ideas come and make us feel like we're not in control of the guilt at that point in time. It's just a cycle that is going through us. We believe that, okay, we're not doing the best possible thing, therefore I should feel bad about enjoying right now. The world is full of people that we see around us and stories that are told to us that there's lots of suffering out there. And then, so we believe that to feel good, we must also suffer. the internet and all these people out there who there's a lot of people that like they'll run a marathon every day, they'll run 10K every day, they'll do things that personally for them bring them joy. But for me, sitting down and painting or sitting down and just basking in the sun, that brings me joy. Now, the internal experience of both of these things are the same. But because I have seen so much suffering and everyone talks about suffering and everyone talks about doing hard things, I believe that this state that I'm in right now, I should have done hard work for it. And therefore guilt comes in.
Okay.
That it is just, I have seen patterns like that, people suffering, oh, work. Now I'm feeling something different. I'm feeling content at this moment.
No,
but
nobody feels guilt for feeling content. If they're feeling guilty, then they were also feeling something else. There is nobody who feels guilty for feeling content. I don't believe that happens.
If you're feeling content at that moment, no.
Content.
It's like when you're examining, when the cycle of slight unhappiness comes, then the examination happens, and then all of these cycles happen in the mind.
But let's not drop the point. Even if you understand it. No, it's not. So if somebody is feeling guilty, it's because they are also buying into the idea that whatever outcome they are not getting is because they didn't do what they needed to do to get that outcome. So either it's true, either it means, yes, I failed in my exam and it's because I didn't study. So that's true. If you would have studied, maybe you would have passed. But to say, I didn't get 100 like that person or a 99 like that person, and that's because I didn't follow exactly the study format that person followed. That's not necessarily true. Even if you followed exactly what that person did, you may not have gotten a 99. Or maybe you didn't have to do so much to get a 99 and you just wasted all of that. That bit is what brings guilt. Like you believe a story. Your guilt, let's establish this, because if we're going to do more conversations, then we probably can spend a little time establishing some basic ways in which you and I think and live our life. And one of them is that we completely understand that nobody outside of you can make you feel any way. If you say that person shouted at me and made me feel bad, that's not a thing.
Totally.
That's not how we behave, and that's not how that person shouted, and I could have just laughed at you, because there have been instances where people have shouted at me and I've just laughed. Right? So nobody makes you feel anyway. So if you are feeling guilty, and to some people, I've spoken like this to many people now, and to some people, when I say this, I hear a lot of defense, like fine, whatever. But think of it this way: if nobody else can make you feel anything, then how empowering is that? Because instead of having to fight, however popular you are, I remember there once being a thing of somebody showing off about how many Facebook followers they had, and it was in some 5,000 plus, and that was a big thing. But you don't have to deal with those 5,000 followers to feel good anymore. You just have to deal with yourself. And if you truly accept this, and once you truly see this, but you will only truly see this once you truly accept it, then there is no problem that you have that is outside of you. And that first and foremost makes life very easy. What is there after that?
Agreed.
Right? Not what is there. There is a lot after that. Years for me. But at least that is such a powerful beginning.
Yeah.
And you may forget it. But it that is something to be mentioned. So nobody can make you feel guilty. If you're feeling guilty, there is stuff that you need to sit down with yourself. Don't feel guilty about feeling guilty, right? Like you have to stop the cycle somewhere.
So firstly, it's a great thing for another episode to talk about personal responsibility.
Maybe.
But
another thing is that I don't plan anything ever at
absolutely,
all.
I
other
got
than,
that the moment I said this.
Yeah, but
Um,
I'm just saying it for the maybe audience that may be there.
That may look forward to this episode that we'll never do.
No, we'll do, because we'll
May
talk.
or may never do. Anyway, but it won't be planned ever. It may happen.
I know.
What we do, what happens to us as human beings growing up is that we get imbibe an idea of guilt, and then we ourselves we don't realize that we are only creating it ourselves
Yeah,
in
that's
cycles
what
and
karma
cycles and
is,
cycles.
I would say.
And while we have this view that it is imbibed in us from the very beginning of our lives that problems are outside. Problems are not
When you
internally.
say it is
there.
imbibed in us, again, it is sounding a little not taking responsibility type. We imbibe it within ourselves.
We imbibe.
Think
I'm
of
saying
it,
this
think
happens
of it as we're
when
sponges.
we're a small little
Till
kids.
we are the age of 6, 7, we're just sponges. We
Yeah.
imbibe everything within us.
Absolutely. So that at that point there's no personal responsibility for a small kid who is already imbibed the idea of guilt because it is just around him.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, but after that, because we believe that the narrative of the world in general is that problems are outside, and
Yeah,
problems
that is the general
come onto
narrative.
us.
Yeah.
We don't create our own problems. Problems come onto us.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Now, because that is there, then this confusion stays that, not confusion, then we believe that other people make us guilty. And that it is not a self-fulfilling circle that we just run again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
So yeah. Cool.
There were many thoughts I had. So, like, you said, there's also a lack of self-confidence that would lead to this sort of thinking and being. That, there are areas of your life where you're very confident being very different from the crowd.
Yeah.
Think about it. All of us have our own areas.
Very specific
Very
areas.
specific. No, this is how I do it. That's all right.
Yeah.
I understand that that's
Yeah.
how you do it. I have respect for what you're doing, and I understand that what I'm doing looks odd to you, but it makes sense to me,
Yeah.
and I am very much at peace with that fact that it looks different from most, and that most don't get it, and that I don't need to explain it to
Yeah.
most. And that's that. There's such a simplicity, and the word I like so much, sahajta, about all of, about some of these ideas within each of us.
Yeah.
Like a person.
No, I absolutely get it. And
Yeah, but I'd like to give some examples.
Yeah,
Like
say.
a person who doesn't eat non-veg on Tuesdays. I mean, I don't eat ever, but there are people who don't eat non-veg on Tuesdays. And even if their daily non-veg friends are not eating non-veg, are eating non-veg on a Tuesday, they'll feel very comfortable saying, nahi, aaj
Yeah.
to ye hai, I'm not going to have. And they're not going to be able to bully this person
Yeah.
into having. And they're going to just stand their ground. They're not going to feel offensive or defensive about this. So you can be like that on all topics. No?
Yeah.
That's the. So what is it? It's ultimately a conversation of self-inquiry. What is it that is making you feel guilty about this? But then also there is other stuff where your situation is similar, but you're not guilty.
Yeah. I really like that because I've most often looked at self-confidence as a thing that applies to every area of your life. If you're self-confident, if you're a confident person, you'll be confident everywhere.
No.
But that's a very good distinction that it applies. It's a spectrum in
it is a
different places.
No, but generally there is like a general, like, what is it called? Like a range per person would exist.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And yeah, like there'll be some people who are, I have met some women like this who you can really mold them and get them to come with you to like that restaurant instead of this, or this instead of that. but they just don't want to try a drop of alcohol, and there's nobody can get them to. It's that line is drawn, and it's so there are things now and oftentimes see what happens is emotions are very interesting. Sometimes it's not self-confidence, it's pride hiding as self-confidence, and that's why you're very comfortable. Those are again things that you have to inquire within yourself and know, right? How can I say about a person that we're making up to have this conversation about?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. Okay, we're gonna end today's episode. Smokey is making sounds.
Okay.
and
Oh, that
calling
was
us.
35 minutes. Not bad. Are we going to share this?
I think so.
Like just as it is.
As is.
I laughed in between. I don't know why.
So what do you mean
I
you
got
laughed
very
in between?
fun.
Obviously you
Something
laughed.
became
yeah.
very funny. Okay.
Okay, we're sharing this.
Okay, bye.
Bye.